Tell me a little bit about your Mission Waco journey, kind of how it came to pass and all that.
There was a deep sense of call that Janet and I came to understand about ourselves as we continued through the journey of working with State Home and then eventually Inner City in Fort Worth, where we worked on a degree there, and then took a trip around the world that was really life-changing. We went to work among the poor in different places. It's kind of those that wake-up call to see how many people are really hungry in the world, how many needs there are, how many people are not Christian, don't even know who Jesus is. And that was a 4.5-month trip with Seth on our back, and 4.5 months of seeing pain and poverty, working in the slums. We got to meet Mother Teresa and worked in the slums there of Calcutta. That kind of reality is life-changing. You can't quite ever be the same. So we came back to Waco by choice to have a second child and then decide what we were going to do with our lives for the next stage. We decided that we had to live among the poor. We just couldn't go back to middle-class America. So we started looking around in Waco, and this whole neighborhood that we live in still, after 40 years, had been a nice neighborhood back in the 20s and 30s. But as the neighborhood changed, as the houses got old, as the blacks moved in, and during the civil rights movement, the white fight happened all over our city. So this neighborhood deteriorated significantly. And so we had a real estate girl call us one day who was afraid to even come over here, but said, I think this is what you're looking for. And so we came over and found this old 4,000 square foot house that we ended up buying for $12,000 across the street from a bar with crack dealers and prostitutes on the street. And we decided that was who we were. We would want to live in the middle of what our call was. Incarnational is what we believe Christ did. And so we felt like then, instead of just going down and doing the short-term mission trip, we really wouldn't want to live in the middle of it. We didn't know what we were doing. We were naive, and certainly knew that raising children in a beat-up neighborhood would be different than we would in normal life. But we bought the house, started working on it, and began to get to know the neighborhood. And Mission Waco grew up out of our relationship with the neighborhood people. We got to know them, got to realize their own challenges. They loved their kids just like we did, but they didn't have good schools. They couldn't find the right jobs. They had friends who were on drugs. All the issues of inner city right here in the front of us, and now it was our problem. It wasn't just their problem, it was us. And by living in the middle of it and becoming friends with the poor, Mission Waco was a natural outgrowth of all that.
What are your goals for Mission Waco and the local community?
Go ahead.
Everything we've done has happened out of that relational mindset. We don't have a 5-year plan. We don't work from that mindset. Everything we've done comes out of relationships with the people we serve and love, and the next step is usually a surprise. The recent Jubilee food market that we put together was obvious. Our people were walking 2.5 miles to go to the grocery store. That's just wrong. Food deserts are all over America now, and the reality is, if you have to walk that far or ride a bus 3 hours to get groceries, you're going to pay more for bread, and you're going to be ripped off in the convenience store. And so their problems became our problems. So the next steps usually come out of one more understanding of the complexities of the lives of the people we serve across the city of Waco. So I can't really tell you where we're going. We are in the process right now of doing a project next door to the food market that is really fun for me. It's called Urban REAP, and REAP stands for Renewable Energy and Agriculture Project. We believe in creation care. We believe Christians ought to be better stewards of the world than we are, and God gave us so many resources to work with. And so about a year ago, wrote a grant to Green Mountain Energy, and their Sun Club is part of that deal where they give grants to groups like us. So we wrote a grant and got it. In fact, they called back and said, we want you to up the grant, which nobody had ever done that to me before. And so we ended up getting the funds to create an aquaponics greenhouse that we're just in the middle of getting started on. There'll also be solar power there. We'll have commercial composting, rainwater catchment, water purification, grow beds, all the kinds of things that usually you don't think about among the poor. But poor people are disconnected sometimes from the earth. They just don't realize you live in a concrete jungle. You don't realize how important it is to think ecologically, environmentally sound. How do you to be good stewards of the resources God gave us? So those will be going up this spring. Hopefully, and by summer, we'll be fully engaged in these projects. So that's one of the next steps. But who knows what's next? We just live with that mystery of what does God have for us the next round. Janet, on the other hand, is involved globally. So whereas my scope is going to be mostly Waco, let me let you tell you about Haiti and Mexico and India.
In India, our goal is to provide medical access for a group of people that don't have access. So, and it's more like compassionate access. So they could go get medicine, they could go get some medical care, but the people don't really care about them. So this compassionate access is going to be a big difference for India, and that's the thing we are working on. And then the next step, I think, will be education, or education for pre-education, because the group this is a first generation that have been settled. They were nomadic, and now they're not. So it's hard to get education for people who are so sick. So we're going to do work on those steps. In Haiti, we're hoping to start a new extended program for microcredit for some women. We had a microcredit program from 2011 to 2015, and now we're getting ready to start another program for about 10 women, and then it includes a savings and loan program so that the poor will learn how to save money also. So we're excited about that. That will be happening starting in the spring, in March. In Mexico City, we continue to take care of about 220 orphans that in one particular orphanage they're mentally ill or cerebral, they're incapacitated, so they were born with disabilities of some kind. So we get to participate in being a part of their lives, and then the church there also cares for the homeless and marginalized people in Mexico City, so we get to participate with them in their ministries there. So stay tuned. We'll keep you informed about all those things on our websites and information.